Welcome, fellow last places, to another episode of LPF Debrief, where Chris and I talk about comic books, movies, and TV shows, just like today's TV show we're going to be talking about, which is Book of Boba episode 5, or better known as something else once we once we put the spoilers ahead. But
It's episode 5. Yeah.
it is episode 5.
Yeah.
I thought you were looking around and you were like, so yeah, before after we give the spoilers, we'll say the other name of the episode. Because we were in for a loop. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us today. We will be talking about Book of Boba episode 5. It's common, normal start off the same way we always do, by shaming Yendi for not watching any of the content we watch. And we've got I'm going to call that the pumpkin of shame. So you will see that anytime we shame one of the three of us. So, well, Chris, we can't shame Chris with it unless he gives us a replicate copy.
I'm immune. You can buy this
because it's his.
It's a Grumpkin. So
it's a Grumpkin. So I'll look for one. But yeah. So shame on you, Yendi, for not watching this, especially not watching this episode. But actually, Yendi did say on the show that he was watching. He watched the first 2 episodes.
He did not watch the first 2.
He watched episode.
He watched 2 because his brother-in-law was watching it, so he walked by. Yeah.
So
it don't count.
Mm-hmm. And as always, guys, help us out, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. I think at the time of this recording, we're at 89.
Yes. Yeah. Every week.
So we're 11 away from doing the mouse giveaway. So if you guys want a chance to win a Steel Series 3 wireless mouse, just go head over to the YouTube. If you're watching it, if you're listening to the podcast, head over to the YouTube, click on the subscribe button. If you're already on YouTube and haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. So let's get into it. Episode 5, Book of Boba, directed by, who directed this one? This was Bryce Dallas Howard, and it was written by Jon Favreau. So Chris. Before we go to Chris, spoilers ahead.
Yeah.
Now go to Chris.
Okay, all right. Give it a few seconds for those people to tap out. Makes sense that Jon Favreau did this one.
Well, Jon Favreau has written every episode.
Has he?
Yeah. Yeah. He has. Yes. He hasn't directed everyone. He directed episodes. He directed the episodes.
So 3 came out and he watched it and said, that probably looked better in my head, to be honest.
Listen. We could talk
because
about
5.
Another day.
No, we're gonna be talking about it today because I had issues with 5. I mean, I loved 5, but it just made more of an issue for 3. All right. So Mando season 3 episode 1 is what this is, right? This is the best episode that they've aired so far, which I hate to say because I'm a big Boba Fett fan, right? And this is the best episode that's aired. But it sucks because Boba Fett is literally not in it. And it sucks. That's why it sucks. I was like, man, this is fantastic. And the guy's not in it. This episode was crazy. It made me I called it that he was showing up. I didn't realize it was going to be like freaking start. And then
when I get to my take, because I'll explain my issue.
Okay. But it was dope. We got caught up on what Mando's been doing. We don't know what happened after the ship because I feel like Bo-Katan would be like, hey man, we got to fight right here for this because she's a very impatient character. Sure, we'll find out later on about that. We learned that Mando cannot sword fight in the first 5 minutes. Doesn't know what he's doing. And knows his way around the blaster, but not the way around.
He was taking some people out still, though.
He was taking people out.
Besides the time he burned himself, he was doing his thing with that, though.
But also, I wanted to point out another gruesome scene.
Yeah.
When he slammed that guy on the table, I thought he was going to be like, "You're coming with me," but the fact that he chopped him full in half and the table, I was like, "What? We just cutting people?"
Yes. Because he gave him the option.
I know he said I could bring you in warm or cold, but it's just the fact that,
he's a bounty hunter.
A couple episodes ago, we said, they're doing a good job of keeping it like PG-13 and stuff like that. And, the fact that it's getting more gruesome a little bit, it's still PG-13. It's great. Love it. it was just a cool surprise to see. I like that a lot. I also loved all the Easter eggs that we will talk about later on, especially something that was very big on my childhood.
We can
From
get into it now.
Okay,
Why not?
so I was really excited when Mando got his ship. That's Anakin's ship. If people didn't know, looks dope, all pimped out in silver. Loved it. When he was flying through the canyon, though, that's the canyon that Anakin races in for the pod race. And the pod race is probably one of my favorite things in Star Wars. I really like that scene, the racing scene. I have a weird thing for sports and fantasy. So like Quidditch, like whenever I watch Harry Potter, Quidditch was like a big thing. I was like, I just want this. This is what I want. So it was really cool to see the pod racing. I even have I think I still have the 64 game in the back, but it was very exciting to see that. And also BD1. I was very happy to see him. And hopefully with him out that, there's going to be a physical version at Galaxy's Edge that I can go pick up. Maybe. Be a great idea. Yeah. But yeah, 5 stars for this episode. What do you think, man?
Yeah, it was a great episode. Here's my theory behind all of this, right? I feel that at the end of some of these like reviews, and I think this happened around episode 2, I'm going to believe that they scrapped whatever the episode 5 of Book of Boba was supposed to be and literally took episode 1 from season 3. I believe, and this is why I say this, right? Let me tell you why. The reason why I believe that, right? Because you can do it easily. You don't have to, because at some point, obviously, they were going to meet, right? And normally in some of these processes, you would have had this episode already made, right? So my thing is, though, why would you revert so hard to an episode that you literally, the character of the TV show did not even show up? Like, he didn't even show up. We literally didn't get anything, nothing besides Fennec in the end that was related to Boba. Nothing. Like, zero. The only reason why, my only theory on this, and I don't even think this is going to work, but my only theory that they would even do this would be if Boba's going to get the Darksaber, right? Because it's the only thing that makes sense to show this much of the Mando's content within Book of Boba. Like, it makes no sense. It has no like actual meaning because we didn't need all that information in order for Fennec to go pick up to go pick up Mando. It makes no sense. So it's literally.
Well, they were filling in the gap. I feel they were filling in the gap of what to happen after they left each other.
Nope. Now you don't waste. That episode was an hour.
Yeah,
that episode was like 50. Exactly. You don't put that much time and emphasis on telling someone's story unless that was actually part of the story.
I think they meant to do it.
They did not.
Yeah, I think this end half of Boba Fett is just to open up season 3 of Mandalorian.
But again, you don't put a full episode, which means they had to have scrapped episode 5 and was like, you know what? We need to get people back into the show. What's the best way to get people back into the show? By showing them a character that we've actually like built. And I think the reason why Book of Boba, the first couple of episodes weren't doing so well is because they had a level of expectation. Like I always talk about this. With the reason why Mando succeeded so well was because you had no expectation for a new character. When you go in, you're like, here's this new character. I don't know what to expect from him. I don't know what we're going to see from him, or I don't know if I'm going to grow to like this character. A lot of people didn't like the first episode of Mando, and then they fell in love with the character later on. And with Boba is you have years of people loving this character, and then now you're getting his solo thing, and everyone's like, this is not the way that I saw it happening, so I don't like it that much. So again, I think Disney was just like, you know what? Here's episode 5. We've got this ready to go. Let's go ahead and drop it in here because, and here's what another reason why I say that theory. Notice that they don't name the chapters, right? It's like you don't know the name of the title until you've watched the episode.
That's what I was wondering, because whenever I watched it, like whenever I clicked on it, I don't read the title anyway. I just click on the episode and just go.
Yeah, it says chapter 5.
But whenever it comes up and it says, the Return of the Mandalorian, I was like, wait, was this on the list? And then like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? And it's good on them that you're able to. And if again, we'll never know if this is true or not. But I'm just saying, I feel like speculating that all of a sudden that you were just like, and then let's just, because they had that episode ready to go. And again, you can't have a whole episode about a character who's not it. Like, Mando is not part of that show. Like, it's not his show. It was a full episode 1 of The Mandalorian season 3. Like, it was 100%. Like, if you would have told me, like, are we watching episode 1 of season 3? I would have been like, absolutely. Without knowing that there was Book of Boba, I would have said 1000% we were watching episode 1 of season 3.
Yeah, I'm sure if I was in the living room, Bring would have been like, wait, is this Mandalorian?
Exactly. So I feel like they did Boba a disservice by having that fully featured within his TV show, because now you essentially wasted an hour, right? And not wasted an hour to us, because obviously we all enjoyed it and it was great, like, you know what I mean, and there was nothing to it, but you just wasted an hour of storytelling for Boba.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So again, I don't feel like you could have, salvaged some things, maybe, I don't know. So
but go ahead.
With all that being said, I thought the episode was, perfect, because it was, we've got more stories of of Mandalore, like basically what's happening, the armor,
the fact that they showed the bombing and everything happened, something tears, 12,000 tears, something like that.
Yeah. And you could even even with that, like, and with even with Bryce Dallas Howard, you could tell how different that show is directed compared to Book of Boba. Because that, again, she did a couple of episodes for Mandalorian, but you can see the feel of the show. It didn't feel like Book of Boba. The cuts weren't like Book of Boba, like none of that stuff. And that's what I'm feeling we have a major inconsistency of with the Book of Boba. And I feel like that's why people are going to feel like it failed, is because of things like this. Like, I don't know how we didn't get that same team that made Mandalorian. And I don't know how Favreau wrote some of this stuff and was like, this is okay. Like, I don't get it. So,
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to agree with they scrapped an episode, though. In my opinion, I don't know what else they would have done. I mean, it's a theory, though.
There was thousands of things you've got.
Yeah, true.
Because the thing, again, you're setting up this character. You're setting up Boba's character to go take on the army, right? This could have been legit a maybe 5-10 minute cameo. Like, it could have just been Fennec showing up, hey, Boba needs some assistance. And then you cut back to whatever Boba was doing. Or this could have, the last 10 minutes of the episode, or the last 5 minutes of the episode, like, he literally rebuilt his ship on a Book of Boba episode. Like, bro,
Okay.
he rebuilt his ship.
Knock it off, Alan.
He rebuilt his ship. I mean, let's go through the things that he did. We found out about Mandalore, which is supposed to be the main topic of season 3.
Yeah.
We talked about the Darksaber. He got challenged for the Darksaber in this episode. Bruh, he got challenged for the Darksaber in this episode.
Which I knew it was going to immediately, as soon as he held it out. Yeah. As soon as he held it out, I was like, big boy over there is going to go ham. He's ready for it.
Which was... that was actually voiced by Jon Favreau.
The bigger guy?
Yeah, he was voiced by Jon Favreau.
Awesome. Also, I like the whole. So he said that his ancestors, the Vizsla, past
Vizsla.
So I remember the bald guy in the animated series was. So were they related?
Taz Vizsla,
Yeah.
That's the same clan. That's the creator. He was in Rebels.
Yes. Okay.
He was
Rebels. Okay.
spoken about in
I was like,
Rebels.
okay, I remember who this is. I wanted to complain more about episode 3, just the scene, right? So as soon as Mando gets up, right, as soon as that scene happens and he hauls ass, thing, I was like,
But this is what I'm saying. This is what I mean, though. Like, why is it so vastly different? And this is
right,
that has to deal with, again, with directing choices and stuff like that. Because, like I said, I've noticed for episode 1 and 3, they used the same director, and I wasn't a fan. Episode 2, Favreau did like episode and thing, which I loved because it had the end of the scene. 4, I liked at a certain point. You know what I mean? Also, but like, I forget the director's name who did 1 and 3, but like, I don't understand how those guys visioned it. And then the next episode, we already know is going to be a lights out because it's Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni directed and
oh, I
written
didn't know that.
the next episode. So you already episode 6 is all him and Favreau. So like, you know what I mean? I already know what to expect.
And then Mando season 3, we know it's going to be, they set up the mines. And he's going to go to Mandalore for the mines.
That's what I mean, though. And why would you put that in the middle, even as a setup?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Even as a setup for his character, why would you put that in the middle of Book of Boba?
Leave it alone, Alan. Also, we got more of her character name. She doesn't actually say it. I don't think it's ever said. Yeah, Peli, man. So great. Oh my God, so great. I love her. I love her a lot. She's awesome.
We also found out she dated a Jawa, which
that was she's like, I dated one once, and I was like, huh? She's like, very furry. And I was like, huh?
Okay,
we go. Go back. But and then one of them's trying to flirt with her. I was dying, bro. When as soon as she starts speaking to him, I was crying in laughter. And then she's like, oh, I'm working on me. And I was like,
she was also speaking Jawa. Like that was I believe the first time we've had a human speak Jawa.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was so funny. Another detail, I don't think they've ever mentioned that the Darksaber, the whole you can't fight the sword, and you see it whenever they both fight each other for what's the bigger guy's name? Because I know
that is not Paz. I think it is Paz. Paz
Viz? Okay. When they fight each other, as soon as he gets it, it's hard for him to lift. Also, so I was like, this is an awesome detail that they put with the sword.
The armorer was saying it too. She was like, "You're fighting the sword," and we noticed that you're fighting me, not you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And the sword knows it, like you know what I mean. So that was cool, and also it was cool that we actually got the details of obviously the Tara Vizsla being a Mandalorian and a Jedi, which obviously makes sense on why the saber is
a saber.
Yeah.
Which I would like to see the process if ever. I would love to see how that lightsaber was built, like get everything about it. And I thought it was cool also how when he had the spear, how much Mando wants to be, like how dedicated he is to that clan and how much he wants to be is nuts, man. As soon as she's like, "Where'd you get the spear?" He's like, "Oh, it was gifted to me." She's like, "Well, that pierces our armor and it shouldn't be a thing." And he's like, "All right," and he just gives it up to her.
Well, to make armor for Grogu, of course.
Yeah, which was awesome. Whenever she's like, "Oh, like what?" When she mentions his name too, she's like, "Well, what am I making for Grogu?"
Well, I thought it was really cool that they even like how she was basically explaining the differences between the Jedi and the Mandos.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean. And
that they drop. Yeah, cool. That they're all about
we don't want they don't want any distractions and stuff like that, and then Mando himself is just like
loyalty and everything.
That's the opposite of what we believe in. And it's just like, this is the way, And then I also thought the scene when he gets onto the commercial, which is another new thing, a commercial air flight, like space flight. We've never seen that before, and then he has to give in all of his weapons. And that's the thing, like I said, about Mando, and that's what makes that show so good, is because it has such a great balance of like comedy, serious moments, and great action scenes. Because even when the way that was shot, it's just shot perfectly. And then when he goes to the to the ship and he's like, hey, you can't go in there with those weapons. He's like, hey, but it's part of my
It's part
religion.
of my religion. Yeah, as soon as he said that, he's like, I'm a Mandalorian. It's my religion. He's like, yeah, no, man.
Like, and then he like puts everything in there, and he's like, I know everything that's in there.
Yeah, it's
and
the
then,
grapple hook. It was a grapple hook for me when I hear it like and I see the coil there. I was like, bro.
He was like, it was the everything.
Yeah,
it was so cool. It's just so cool to have that like that little sense of comedy and stuff like that. And the droid is just like, yo, no, why are you bothering me? I'm just trying to do my job. Here's the card key. Like, leave me alone.
He was literally a cast member in disguise, 100%.
Yeah,
he's like, bro, just put it there. Just put it in there. If you don't want to, then leave, man, please.
Yeah, like he said it too. He was like, well, then you can take the next flight.
Yeah, just we can do it tomorrow. That's what I liked. I liked that comment where he's like, if you want to talk to my supervisor, we can fly you off tomorrow. And I was like, yes.
Yeah, like go, man.
Yeah. But I don't want no trouble. I wanted to point out that we're getting more on that race. The one guy that was in the that meeting last episode of Book of Boba Fett, and I was like, oh, what race is that? So it's like it's a dog race. That's what I put in my notes, because whenever I saw it in there, because it's in the opening episode, whenever he goes into the freezer, if you look at their faces, they have the droopy cheeks, they have the teeth hanging up like pit bulls and everything like that. So I was like, oh, okay, we have a dog race now. That's kind of cool. I just wanted to point that out because I was like, what is this? I don't know. Whenever they introduce something new, I'm always like, okay, I don't need to know the name because I will never remember it. I just want to know what other ones look like. So, and I'm glad that they showed us that. And then also I put Halo ? And I wish there was a Master Chief cameo walking by or something.
That'd be the most insane.
I know, cameo. Right? I know, right? Because when I saw it, I was like,
I wouldn't even know how to feel if like Master Chief just showed up. I don't know if I'd be
just
excited.
a blur of like green. It doesn't even have to be him.
I just don't even know, because it would be like I would have so many emotions just coursing through my body as I'm like, is that really who I think it is? Like, there's no way that he made it.
Oh man,
it would make total sense because they're in space. I just didn't know their worlds were connected.
Also, the way he found his clan was really cool, and the fact that she said there was 3 like him, and then the other 2. So what happened to the others? They just couldn't find. I know they all probably dispersed, and she's like, "We'll have to rebuild." And I guess they're just still trying to find each other because the fact we don't know how long he's been searching for them. Whenever he was just like, when he was doing jobs to find information, I thought that was crazy that, how secretive they are, they have to be, and how much you have to go through to find basically your family, your clan, everything again. So, my question for you is that now that he's going to go see Grogu at some point, do you think we're getting more Luke, a lot more Luke, or just another cameo of Luke?
That's a good question. I don't know if they're going to go the Jedi Academy route, which is a comic book that was written back in the day. I don't know if they're going to go that route. I'm curious about that also. Again, that's not something I don't think we'll see. I think we won't see that like anytime soon, maybe later on in season 3, because obviously he wants to go see Grogu, right? And I don't think now the next episode is really interesting to me, right? Because where do we go from this next episode? Which is why I said what I said, right? Because now he's like, well, before I do that, I have to go see Grogu, right? Like, so what are we going to start the episode with him seeing Grogu and then just show up? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
wait, did he say that at the end of the episode? I thought he was going after.
Yeah. No, he said that first I got to go see someone first. And then he goes, what you call it? And then she was like, if I remember correctly, I could have sworn he said that. I don't think he said, I'm going to go see him after I help Boba. Because he's like, he says, this is on the house, right? He says, tell Boba that this is on the house.
Badass.
And then, and then he goes, but first I have to go see someone.
Yeah,
I'm
but we
pretty sure
don't.
that's not the
You
episode.
think it's Grogu
No,
though that he's going to see?
That's what he said, though. He said it.
I
Hold
could
on.
have swore
Look.
he didn't
You
say that. I think
filibuster while I go listen to the
Okay.
last couple episodes. I'm like,
because I could have swore he just said I gotta go.
Down.
I gotta go see somebody or take care of something. But
yeah.
Fennec would have known who he was. He was like, "Oh, you're gonna go see that little fucking green thing? Yeah, cool."
No, listen, that's mean, okay? He's not just a little green thing. He's a
Also the
training
fact that the
Jedi.
mechanic was like, "Why didn't you tell me you were getting rid of him? I could have sold him."
Yeah, that was also
The
hilarious.
profit. Yeah.
Like people are just out here like trying to sell Grogu.
Oh my gosh!
for
But the
what,
fact I also really like we talked about this before with the Sand People, like how much more they're building into these races. The fact that the Jawa was like, whenever he's sitting there, he's like, "Wait, they went and picked this up for you?" She's like, "Yeah, I give them a list. They keep it out. I don't want to ask questions. They get it for me. I pay them." And then he's like, "Wait, they do that?" She's like, "Yeah, what do you want?" Like, I was like, "Oh man, this is so cool that they're just like whatever it takes." That's kind of new to. We always thought like, oh, they scrap and they pull over to the side and you pick from what they have. But the fact that they can steal and all this other stuff.
And I love that she was just like, you're spoiling them when he gave them like a little thing, which just shows to you how much they scrap for things.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it's always difficult for them. And yes, to end the episode, he gives the money, he gives the credits back to Fennec, and then he says, "But first, I gotta go see a little friend." He literally says that.
Damn it.
At the end of the episode. So again,
I don't
where are
want
we
Grogu
going
in
with
this.
this episode? Look, listen, if episode 6 is Mandalorian again, he says, "Yeah, I got to pay a visit to a little." So he's obviously going to go.
Hopefully, it's just off screen and we see it on the actual season, and we get Boba Fett, and then we're going to get a moment where Mando just flies in and he's like, "I'm here."
But then again, like that's why I'm saying now you put people in a weird situation though. Now, like how many more people are going to want to see that now? Like because now. I feel like when you tease people so much, especially with the length that you tease the people with, they're going to want that episode. You know what I mean? So I don't understand why you would put that right in the middle of this season. You know what I mean? It makes no sense.
What are they doing to my character, man?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I have no idea.
I'm enjoying it though. That's the weird thing. It's like it's so weird to say that I'm enjoying it, but at the same time, I feel like I'm not supposed to be. It's kind of weird. Because it's like, I like what you're doing, but it makes no sense. I like it.
Yeah. But, like I said, it feels like it's always been a little bit all over the place. And
it's not as structured as Mandalorian for sure.
Yeah. And I feel like the level of expectation came with Book of Boba. A lot of that stuff came with the show. So I feel, and especially after you've had Mando, right? So you had the TV show Mando, and like, we know that a good Star Wars live action can be made. So not only did you have like Book of Boba really did have like, you had the level of expectation of Boba Fett being this character, and then you had the level of expectation of rising up from what 2 seasons of Mandalorian were. So I think it wasn't put in an unfair position, but I also have faith in that team. They should have been doing better. So, and that's just how I feel about this show in general. Like, I'm not saying, like, obviously with the episodes that we've already talked about that I've been enjoying, but like, I feel like as this is episode 5, so we're 2 episodes left. Like, it is a little, when you look back on it, it's going to be a little underwhelming.
I better not see another 30-minute episode. I'll tell you that much.
We'll see what happens. You will see what happens. So, yeah, you got anything else, Chris, you wanted to
add? More dark scene, dog race. Let me read you my list of what I do whenever I like quickly type something. Yeah. I quickly type something, I go back. I put more dark scene, dog race, Halo, find the guild, more Luke, heavy sword, BD1, Anakin.
Oh, you outline right there. Sometimes you just need a trigger. You just need a trigger word. You know what I mean? And those are your trigger words for you.
Yeah,
so
man. Perfect. This episode was a lot of fun, and it was so cool, and it just makes me want more Mandalorian now. Yeah, man. And it sucks because I tell you guys, Boba Fett's my favorite character through and through. I'm ride or die for him. And it just sucks that this episode was the best one. And I'm like,
Well,
Yeah.
we'll see what episode 6. Dave Filoni has not failed me, so we will see what he produces on episode 6. But let's end the show the same way we always do by saying your favorite part. I'll go first this time,
Yeah.
and I will say my favorite was that conversation that they had between, because you guys know I like talking scenes and dialogue, but the armor having that conversation about the differences between the Jedi and the Mandalorian race, I thought that was super cool to hear that, like how they live in this same world, and especially it kind of shows you how opposite Grogu and Mando are anyway, right? So like, and just having that difference, but like, obviously they're drawn together because of what they've gone through and all that stuff. So I thought that whole conversation was really cool, and she was just like, this is the way. Like,
Yeah.
what, I don't know, like there's no changing it. This is how we do it. So
And I do hope that when he sees Grogu, that we find out Grogu's been giving Luke just as much of a hard time as he did with Mando, because that would be great. If we see Luke and he's just like, dude. But my favorite part would have to be the whole ship scene in general. Him flying through, and then all the way up to when he meets the Republic.
yeah,
And they're there, and he's like, your voice sounds familiar. You wouldn't happen to be.
Yeah.
And the
He's
fact that
like-
he punches it, and that moment between the two, because the one guy is just like an old cop. He's
Yeah,
just
he's
like,
an
I've
old
been
cat,
around.
like,
He's literally the old cop, and he's like, should we go after him? He's like, you really want to go back and do paperwork and all this other stuff, or you want to fly more? And the rookie's like, oh yeah, let's fly more.
yeah.
And he's like, all right, let's go. So,
Absolutely, yeah. I love that part too, and he just like punches it without having to like charge up too, which is really
that
an
was
awesome thing about Na'vi.
badass. Yeah, and like I said, the whole ship scene, because whenever he even builds it, and she's like, oh, give it a test ride, and then he's like, oh, like shouldn't we run diagnostics? She's like, it's purring, it's good, and takes off, and I was like, this is awesome.
It was a great episode of The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I mean, Luke of Boba. Great episode. So that is going to be all for it today, guys. Thank you for joining us. As always, please hit that like, share button, do all that good stuff so we can do that mouse giveaway. We will see you guys again on Tuesday for the live show. Come check that out whenever you guys have the chance. If not, you can watch it in YouTube version also. So thank you for joining us. We will be back next week for episode 6 on LPF Debrief. And Chris and I have some other stuff that we need to do, but we'll talk about that once we find the time for it. All right. So till next time, Fire Team out.